When people talk about the greatest strikers of all time, one name always deserves more respect: Gabriel Batistuta. Not just a goal scorer, a force of nature, powerful, ruthless, and unbelievably clinical. He was the kind of striker defenders hated to face and fans loved to watch. For many football fans, Batistuta represents a type of number 9 that feels almost lost in the modern game. Born on the 1st of February 1969 in Reconquista, Argentina, Gabriel Batistuta did not begin as a polished football superstar. In fact, he grew up playing different sports, including basketball and volleyball, before fully dedicating himself to football. But once he committed to the game, his rise was fast. He started his professional career in Argentina with Newell Old Boys in 1988. Although his early period there was not especially explosive statistically, it gave him a foundation in top-level football. After that, he had spells with River Plate and then Boca Juniors. It was at Boca where his reputation began to grow much more seriously. His performances there showed exactly what kind of striker he was becoming: direct, fearless, physically dominant, and always hunting for goals. In 1991, Batistuta made the move that would define his club career. He joined Fiorentina in Italy. At that time, Serie A was arguably the most difficult league in the world, especially for attackers. Italian football in the 1990s was famous for elite defending, tactical discipline, and very little space in the final third. To score consistently in that environment was one of the hardest things in football. And yet, Batistuta did exactly that.
At Fiorentina, he became more than a striker. He became an icon. He spent 9 seasons with the club, from 1991 to 2000, and in that time, he built one of the most powerful legacies any foreign player has ever had in Italian football. For Fiorentina, Batistuta scored 207 goals in 333 official matches. In Serie A alone, he scored 168 goals in 269 appearances. Those are elite numbers, especially when you consider the era, the defensive quality of the league, and the fact that Fiorentina were not one of the dominant super clubs of Italy. That is one of the most important things about his legacy. He was not padding his numbers in a machine-built dynasty. He was scoring huge numbers for a club that had passion in history, but not the same power as Juventus, Milan, or Inter. And still, his name stood with the very best. One of the most emotional chapters of his Fiorentina story came in the 1992-93 season, when the club was relegated to Serie B. For many star players, that would have been the obvious moment to leave, but Batistuta stayed. He remained loyal to Fiorentina, helped them earn promotion back to Serie A, and deepened his bond with the fans forever. That loyalty is one of the main reasons why he is still worshipped in Florence today. Batistuta was not only consistent, he was also spectacular. He had one of the fiercest shots in football history. His finishing was violent in the best possible way. He could score from inside the box, outside the box, with his right foot, with his left foot, with his head, from volleys, from tight angles, from free kicks, and from first-time strikes that gave goalkeepers no chance at all. He was around 1.85 meters tall, strong in the air, physically powerful, and incredibly balanced for such an aggressive striker. But what made him special was not only power. He had timing, instinct, movement, and an elite understanding of space. Batistuta always seemed to know where the chance would fall, and once the ball reached him, the finish was often devastating. During his time at Fiorentina, he helped the club win the Coppa Italia in the 1995-1996 season and the Supercoppa Italiana in 1996. There was also a period where Batistuta achieved a remarkable Serie A record by scoring in the opening 11 matches of the league season in 1994-95. In one of the toughest leagues in football history, Batistuta was producing goals with frightening regularity. By the year 2000, after nearly a decade of brilliance with Fiorentina, Batistuta finally made a move to a club with stronger title ambitions. He joined Roma, and in his very first season with Roma, he got it. In the 2000 to 2001 season, Batistuta scored 20 league goals and played a huge role in helping Roma win the Serie A title. It was one of the defining achievements of his career. He had spent years giving everything for Fiorentina, but at Roma, he finally lifted the biggest domestic prize of his club career. It was a fitting reward for a striker of his quality.
Overall, for Roma, Batistuta scored 33 goals in 63 league appearances and 36 goals in 87 official matches. Even in the later phase of his career, he remained a major attacking weapon. After Roma, he had a short loan spell at Inter, then moved to Al Arabi in Qatar before retiring. By then, his body had already gone through years of punishment. Batistuta played with intensity, and the physical cost was massive. Stories about the pain he lived with later in life became a huge part of how people understood his career. He gave absolutely everything to football. Now, let's talk about his international career, because this is where his greatness becomes even clearer. For Argentina, Gabriel Batistuta scored 54 goals in 77 appearances. For many years, that made him Argentina's all-time top scorer. He represented Argentina at 3 FIFA World Cups, 1994, 1998, and 2002. In those tournaments combined, he scored 10 World Cup goals. Batistuta remains one of the top World Cup scorers in Argentina's history and one of the very few players ever to score hat-tricks in 2 different World Cups. He also won the Copa America with Argentina in 1991 and 1993. Across those tournaments and major international years, he was the spearhead of Argentina's attack and one of the most feared strikers in world football. When you look at his total senior career numbers, Batistuta scored well over 300 official club goals. Combined with his international record, he comfortably passed 350 goals in official football. And this brings us to the most interesting part of his legacy. Why is Batistuta not always mentioned first when people discuss the greatest number 9s ever? Part of it is timing. He played in an era full of legendary strikers: Ronaldo Nazario, Romario, Weah, Shevchenko, Van Basten slightly before. Competition for attention was brutal. Another reason is that he spent most of his prime at Fiorentina rather than at a club constantly winning Champions Leagues and dominating headlines. If Batistuta had spent 8 or 9 prime years at a super club, his name might be discussed very differently today. But in some ways, that is exactly what makes his story special.
Batistuta's greatness was not manufactured by a giant machine. It was built through consistency, violence in front of goal, loyalty, charisma, and world-class output in an unforgiving era. He looked like a warrior on the pitch and played like one too. The long hair, the intensity, the celebrations, the thunderous finishes, everything about him felt iconic. He was the kind of striker who could make a normal chance feel dangerous and a half chance feel fatal. He did not need many touches. He did not need endless possession. He just needed one opening, one delivery, one loose ball, and suddenly the game changed. In modern football, where so many forwards are asked to do a little bit of everything, Batistuta reminds us of the beauty of a truly elite penalty box killer who also had the technique to score from almost anywhere. For Fiorentina fans, he is immortal. For Argentina fans, he is a national icon. And for football fans in general, he should be remembered as one of the finest strikers the game has ever seen. Gabriel Batistuta was not just a great goal scorer. He was one of football's last truly terrifying classic number 9s, and that is exactly why his legacy still matters today.